I remained in my own room, propping open the window to peer outside. The courtyard wall blocked the view of the low-lying rapeseed field, yet above it, wisps of black smoke rose steadily skyward. Does burning a scarecrow produce black smoke? Isn't it always white smoke? It suddenly occurred to me that the scarecrow was clad in my trousers and shirt, garments woven from hemp thread. When set alight, they would indeed produce black smoke, though this smoke was far too dark and dense, the whole scene resembling nothing so much as ink splashed across the canvas. I was terribly frightened, so I quickly shut the window and sat on the edge of the bed waiting for Grandma. Not long after, Grandmother returned home and entered my room. In a stern tone, she declared, "Deceiving your mother was merely the first step, making her believe you were dead. But your mother is no fool, she will likely return to see if you truly are dead. For these 3 days and nights, you must remain hidden in your room. I shall bring you meals, whatever sounds you hear, do not answer. Otherwise, your mother will be certain you are not dead and will continue to harm you." Having said that, Granny went to prepare the meal. Hiding in my own room, I wasn't so afraid, but I was terribly bored. There was no other way to stop Mother from harming me further. I had to stay hidden indoors for 3 days and nights. After 3 days and nights, it should be all right. At midday, my grandmother brought me a bowl of chicken broth, explaining that she'd slaughtered the household's sole rooster to simmer the soup for me, while the blood had been smeared upon the doorframe. After I finished the chicken soup, Grandma smeared some chicken blood on my window. Grandmother's actions left me rather frightened. Though I'd witnessed grave digging and felt that chilling breeze, I'd never actually seen my mother's spirit. Consequently, I'd always harbored doubts about whether ghosts truly existed in this world. Yet, after witnessing Grandmother's series of seemingly professional techniques, was this proof that ghosts did indeed exist? Very well, then stay in your room. You may come out in 3 days' time. Grandmother repeated her instructions, then closed the door behind her and secured it with the brass lock. My room is the place I know best. Staying here, I feel a warmth deep within my heart, and I naturally cast my mother's worries far from my mind. Having no work during the day and eating well, he found himself full of energy, naturally struggling to sleep at night. After the oil lamp was extinguished, moonlight filtered through the oil paper window, casting a faint glow that made it almost impossible to make out the objects within the room. Woof woof, the village's big black dog suddenly began barking wildly, its terrifying cries shattering what little sleep remained. Before long, the big black dog stopped barking. It seemed to have been locked inside the house. Tick, tock, what was that sound? I listened intently, my hair standing on end against my will. It was the sound of flat shoes crossing the flagstones of the front courtyard. In the ancient village, these very flat shoes were the height of fashion among the farmers. With smooth soles and stitched from cowhide, they provided a particularly steady footing. Besides these, there is another type of footwear, shoes worn by the deceased, known as funeral shoes. These shoes also feature exceptionally smooth soles. Could it be that Mother has already arrived? Looking for shoes, looking for shoes. A faint, ghostly sound drifted through the courtyard. It was so eerily clear that upon hearing it, my entire body shuddered involuntarily. The voice was utterly unfamiliar, certainly not a villager. It must be Mother. She was searching for shoes in the front yard, the pair of longevity shoes she dropped in her panic when Grandmother frightened her away earlier that day. There really are ghosts. There really are ghosts in this world. Mother has come back to haunt me. Spring nights are bitterly cold, yet I found myself drenched in sweat. Ethan, Mum's here to see you. Come out, Ethan, come out now. Mother's voice sounded terribly excited. I am her son, and after all these years apart, she must miss me terribly. But grandmother said never to go out no matter what sounds I hear, or she'd break my legs. Thump, thump, thump. Someone is knocking on my bedroom door, which is right beside the bed, very close to me. I clutched the quilt tightly, pressing it against my chest, my heart pounding. Mum, you've become a ghost. Please don't come looking for me anymore. After all, I'm your son. Don't frighten me like this. There was just a single knock, then silence outside the door. I thought Mother must have left, assuming I wasn't there. Ethan, where are you? Mum's here to see you. Would you mind opening the door for her? This time, the sound came through the window. My bed was pressed against the wall by the window, and it felt as though Mother herself were whispering softly in my ear. Goosebumps rose in layers, leaving me feeling thoroughly unsettled. I glanced at the window. Good heavens, it seemed unlocked and hadn't been properly shut, leaving a gap as wide as a little finger. The atmosphere instantly turned eerie and terrifying, and a vision flashed through my mind, a woman's clawed hand reaching through the window to rip out my heart. Who can say what curiosity truly is? Though terribly afraid, I opened my eyes, craned my neck, and peered through the narrow gap beneath the windowsill. A woman clad in a bright red garment stood motionless before my window, her long black hair cascading down to completely conceal her face. I was utterly terrified, covering my mouth to stifle any sound, and could even hear my own heartbeat. This is my mother, a red-clad female ghost. The village elders say that red-clad female ghosts are fierce spirits. Mother seemed to sense my gaze and turned her head towards the crack, revealing a face as pale as death. Her eyes were entirely white, her lips devoid of any color, and a gash ran from the right corner of her mouth all the way to her ear. The wound had become putrid, with 2 or 3 plump maggots wriggling within the rotting flesh. A faint smile seemed to play at her lips. When our eyes met, I couldn't tell if she'd actually seen me, for from outside, the room must have been pitch black. Ethan, is that you? Come with Mummy. Mother slowly raised her hand and pushed towards the window, as if to confirm whether the person inside was me. Since Mother had asked that question, she must have been certain someone was in the room. Presumably unable to confirm it was me, she sought to push open the window and see for herself. If Mother were to push open the window, she'd surely find me, and then I'd be as good as dead. I could only remain silent, utterly powerless to do anything. When Mother's fingers touched the window, her fingertips felt as though scalded by something, sending up a wisp of black smoke. She jerked her hand back abruptly. Presumably the chicken blood smeared on the window had taken effect. Old rooster blood possesses potent young energy, capable of warding off ghosts. Ethan, where are you? Mummy can't find you. Mummy's going now. The patter of footsteps echoed through the courtyard once more. Mother had truly departed. I breathed a sigh of relief, rolled over, and pulled the duvet up a little. Just then, a chill rose from my feet and spread throughout my body. Peering through the narrow gap, I saw a deathly pale face pressed against the window. Through the crack, a pair of milky white eyes stared fixedly at me. The corners of her mouth twisted into a strange, almost feral grin. She just stared at me like that, saying nothing. Mother hasn't left, she's returned. That must have been a ploy to deceive me just now. Ghosts possess such high intelligence. I was scared out of my wits, clamping my mouth shut for fear of crying out. Ethan, I've spotted you. Come out now, dear. Mummy'll take you somewhere lovely. She spoke to me right up against the window, as though whispering into my ear. Every hair on my body stood on end. The sensation was utterly unbearable. For that instant, my heart seemed to stop, and I could hear nothing at all. I only recall grandmother's words. Not a single word must be spoken in reply. Though Mother seemed to truly see me, the window was smeared with Old Cock's blood. She could not enter. Mother called out once, but seeing no response from me, she turned and walked away. I couldn't tell whether she truly left this time, or was merely pretending to depart, so I kept my eyes wide open, staring intently through the narrow crack in the window. Perhaps that was the only way to feel a shred of security. At some point, I grew so drowsy that I drifted off without realizing it. The next morning, I awoke close to noon. While Grandma was bringing me my meal, I recounted last night's events to her in detail. After listening, she sat on the Kong, sighing deeply and muttering, "That wretched woman hasn't given up on her schemes after all. Shunchen, don't be afraid. What she said last night was merely a test. She had no idea you were in the room. For the next 2 nights, just sleep as you did last night. Once these 2 nights pass, it'll all be over." "All right, Granny," I replied. Tonight, the old clock in the hall told its deep chimes. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, yet Mother still hadn't returned. I was utterly exhausted and eventually drifted off to sleep. On the 3rd night, thunder rolled outside as the first heavy downpour of the season began.